Welcome to Better Returns, where you will learn how to escape the volatility of the stock market by passively investing in real estate like a pro. 90% of millionaires earned and maintain their wealth by investing in real estate. We will share real-life examples from savvy investors so you can do the same. This show is for educational purposes only and should not be considered legal, tax, or investment advice. He still rides roller coasters with both arms in the air. Your host and my dad, Matt Hansen.
Welcome back to Better Returns, How to Invest Like a Pro. This is another one of our bonus episodes, kind of a fireside chat with one of my good friends, Kunal Dewan. We're going to talk a little bit today about alternative investing and why people aren't doing it. Kunal, why don't you kick us off today? Let's talk a little bit about why people are kind of fearful of these things called private placement memorandums or real estate syndications, the stuff you and I live in.
Yes, the world that we live in, and a lot of people are scared to even peek inside this world. And we have talked about this, many times over coffees and to my friends and to even on social media. And the first question that comes up, wait, what is that? So, that first question kind of answers everything that we're going to talk about today. Is the lack of sufficient information. You see, I'm Indian, right? And there is a joke in our Indian culture that if you want to buy something, buy gold first. And everything else comes after. This is like a historic investment guidelines in our culture. Just buy gold, right? And the reason, and because of that, in India, it's said that the amount of gold in India at a retail level far exceeds any country in the world.
Really?
So that gives you perspective that people invest in assets where there's sufficient information. So gold has been old, wise suggestions and investments for the centuries, right? Mm-hmm. It's not even decades, it's centuries. So people have enough information. It's still private. If you think about it, it's not an exchange per se. You actually go and buy gold at a private setting. So people feel comfortable buying gold because they have seen people do that and they know what it means. Real estate syndication, on the other hand, is less than a decade old. This thing really came into limelight after the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. People were doing it before, don't get me wrong, but it really became open with 506C offerings where somebody can go and spread the word. So I say the number one reason or the number one fear that people do not invest in private offerings like real estate syndications is because of lack of sufficient information. Yep. What are your thoughts on that?
I would totally agree because, again, Wall Street isn't paid to promote this. You don't have the big Fidelities, Vanguard, all those big companies. They don't want you to know you have alternatives outside of the stock market. And most of the people that are doing these syndications are folks like, you and I, that are like savvy business people that figure out, oh, you know what? We can help other people move their money from Wall Street to Main Street by passively investing in an apartment building. But we don't have the billion-dollar budgets. So just people aren't just aware this is an option. And the ultra rich have been doing this for years because they've got high-paid CPAs and in real estate lawyers and all the people like that are telling them this is an opportunity. This is what you should be putting your money in addition to other assets. So yeah, I think this is really a good point. It's just lack of awareness is why a lot of people don't do it. I would agree.
Yeah, and along those lines where the rich and the ultra wealthies, they have these family offices who are actually doing these stuff, exactly what me and you are doing at a smaller level, and that information is so private that it never goes to a retail public. And retail public thinks that, hey, Wall Street is the way to go to do everything and build wealth and legacies and financial freedom and all that. But nothing can be farther from the truth.
And that's where a lot of the fear comes from. It's the fear of the unknown. Like you said, people have known about gold forever, but that's still a separate purchase, individual purchase. You're buying gold. It's just people haven't been normalized or socialized that, oh, I can passively invest in real estate. And that's another thing that some people, the people that do know the value in real estate investing, are maybe active investors. They own 4 or 5 rental properties, single family home rentals. Now, those are the people that understand the value of real estate, but the challenge is they don't want to give up control. They want to be an active investor and not a passive. Let's talk a little bit about that, about why people should be willing to passively invest. What are your thoughts on
Absolutely.
that?
Yeah. So I want, before we switch to that, I want to share the thing, very powerful thing you said right now, the social element. If everybody is doing it, then an individual me feels comfortable that I'm
Mhm.
safe, right? Or on the other hand, if nobody is doing it, well, the individual feels that the risk is not worth it,
Right.
right? So the second fear I would say it would be that the private offerings are not able to gain the mass of the momentum because it's private, right? Because
Mm.
it's private, it's two sides of the same coin. Because it's private, it's very local within a group, within the ultra wealthies or perhaps the super savvy people. But because it's private, the other people do not even get to know about it, right? So the social element also plays a big role in creating that mass, the momentum of spreading the word. And I think that's where perhaps people like me and you come in. I mean, you are over 100 million in assets under management, right? But
Mhm.
yet you're not going out there and touting your horn that'll come, this is the way to go, but rather you're just keeping it private because there's so much regulations,
Yes.
right? We check all the boxes when it comes to regulations, right? We don't talk about, oh, this is the return that you will get for sure, or this. We keep it, hey, let's do a due diligence. These are the risks, these are the rewards. And once you have experienced an offering, you become more
Mhm.
savvy. So it's that momentum that builds up from an initial mass. So
Yes.
going back to the question, why should people start investing passively? Well, because they need that initial mass.
Mhm.
Once they start investing passively in these private offerings, they will slowly overcome the fear. So it's a catch 22. How do you
Mhm.
overcome the fear? Well, you overcome the fear by taking a small action. And the rest you will realize the advantages of passive investing, be it the control, be it the money working for you, and be it taking the tax advantages. I mean, we can go in a million points why a family, a person should move their money away from Wall Street into private offerings. But I think it all starts with that little action.
And it really is. Once you discover it, it's just a whole huge world. I know you and I invest in lots of um, real estate deals just because we're in the loop that we find out about, oh, you know what? There's a land development deal, an entitlement deal in Texas. Well, I'm in that network, so I get an opportunity that's going to make potentially 5x my money in the next 4 years. But unless you're in the loop and that's socialized in your group of friends, you don't know those things. I mean, all sorts of I think we've invested in probably 15 different type of private placements, from vineyards to mining royalties to startups, venture capital stuff, that unless you're in the circle, you're not aware of those. And it's just very disadvantaged if you're not, because you don't have the opportunity to make, 2 to 5x your money over the course of, the next 4 or 5 years. And that's the thing that I feel bad for people. It's like, you have no idea all these things open to you because you've never been presented to it. So it's kind of, it's the old catch 22. It's like, you don't know about it. If you don't know about it, you can't do it. And that's why we're here. We're trying to share this information with people. So they have other options outside of Wall Street.
When you told me, Matt, many, many months ago that you're thinking about starting a podcast and spreading the word about this, I mean, I loved you for that, man, because what you just said right now, 30 seconds ago, about so many investment options and tell the world that go beyond the stock exchange. You can still be better off in these so many avenues. I mean, that's the real, I would say, purpose of
Right.
your podcast. It's the purpose of meetings like this. Tell the world that there's another world where me and you live in, you know? And that world is a whole lot better. And it's private. So connect with people, learn, ask questions, and get rid of those fears by asking questions.
Simply get educated. The information's out there. It's just reach out to Kunal and I will help you out, guide you in the right direction.
Yeah, and many times I've also seen, Matt, the action is not immediate. What I mean by that is this, like I got a call, well, actually I first got a message to get on a call because the individual had questions. They had never heard about private offerings. They have never heard about, well, wait, I can put $100,000 in your deal and get cash flow and tax advantages. Like, how does that work?
Mhm.
So that 30-minute call was just, oh, okay. Oh, like literally, that was the
Yeah.
first call. That didn't make the investment the first time, but rather it kind of planted that seed. So when I say take action, I'm not talking taking action of putting money in there, rather take action of connecting with somebody, connecting with a professional who can answer your questions.
Mhm.
That is the action that me and you are talking about right now. Because we're talking about the fear, and it's the knowledge that can help overcome the fear. So take the action of getting more knowledge.
That is outstanding. I can't even top that. We'll call that a wrap for the day, Kunal. Thanks so much. And hopefully people realize that, okay, there's other options out here. Keep listening, talking, educating yourself. And once you've educated yourself, you're much more comfortable getting socializing that, oh, you know what? I can place money in a private placement memorandum with, somebody I know, like, and trust that I've been following for a while. And I'm comfortable that, yes, this person's going to take good care of my money. So I think that's a wonderful message. Hopefully we're leaving with everyone today. Thanks again for your time, Kunal.
Fantastic. It's a pleasure, man.
And that's a wrap. Thank you for listening to Better Returns, brought to you by Hansen Holdings. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a 5-star review because it helps others discover this valuable content. If you would like to earn truly hands-off passive income, go to hansenholdings.com, where we help you invest in large apartment complexes to grow your family's wealth. See you next week with another awesome episode. Have a great day.